Morning, everybody. Hopefully your coffee's hot and tasty. Fairly early in the morning today. I forgot yesterday was Monday. Don't ask me how you forget what day it is of the week. Well, after a while, days start rubbing into each other, blending into each other, and it's not because I've been drinking too much. It's because I've been doing too much of nothing. Dollar short and a day behind and a dollar short. I'm sure that there's many people in the world right now that are suffering from the same things that I'm suffering from. This overwhelming darkness that has surrounded the world right now. You have some politician coming out yesterday or the day before saying that the National Guard can't be trusted because there's too many white people there. And, and then you have the Q people saying, trust the plan, everything's going to happen, and, all these arrests are going to happen, and blah, 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 and it's totally insurrection, and, trust the plan, whatever. But apparently, all the celebtards are going to come out to support Joe Biden, and they're going to have a festival, a ceremony for Malak and Baal, Lucifer. All these demons of man are going to congregate in one place. Yes, it would be a great poetic justice to see all these demons of man in a single place, destroyed by a mighty blow. But I think that's just wishful thinking. Joe Biden has come out and said that all the small business and minority-owned businesses will get millions and millions and millions of dollars to help rebuild. But that doesn't include, if you're a white person, that doesn't include you're getting help. Only black and female-ran businesses are getting any help from this CVID 1984 hoax that was perpetrated by the demons of man, perpetrated to bring down the world economy and to bring down the United States, to end capitalism. I was watching David Knight the other night, yesterday I think. If you haven't heard of David Knight, you may not like him. He's pretty dry, but he's informative nonetheless. I never heard of him before BitChute, but he was saying yesterday that during the Communist Revolution, they used to have these groups like QAnon, and to flush out anti-communist supporters. And he was comparing QAnon to these people in communist Russia that would pretend to be supportive of the idea of freedom and capitalism and everything else, just to flush them out, right? So I absolutely think that that's what they're doing right now. What they're doing right now, you can tell, they're following the communist playbook, play-by-play. What is happening in the United States right now is going to affect the rest of the world. And like I said in previous videos, the day before or whatever, because again, I forgot it was Monday yesterday. Don't ask me how I forgot it was Monday, but I forgot it was Monday yesterday. I didn't even know it was Monday until I actually looked at my phone and it said Monday. And that was already like half the day was over yesterday. I thought it was Sunday, but whatever. That's what happens when you get stuck in this perpetual lockdown. In Western British Columbia, we're not locked down we're not as bad as Ontario and Quebec, but there's still restrictions and movement and things like that, and it's not as bad as Ontario and Quebec, and out east, but yeah, you know, there's not any business going on in town. There's not very many people are working. A lot of people are suffering. A lot of restaurants are only working on a skeleton crew and everything else. Reduced hours and everything else, but so there's a lot of people that aren't working. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that kind of lose track of days. A day behind and $1 short. That's where I am right now. But anyways, so yeah, you had this politician come out yesterday or the day before saying that the National Guard can't be trusted because there's too many white people and it's only white people who supported Trump, you know, United States of America, white people actually only make up like 65% of the population, believe it or not. And now with these demon rats seizing power of everything, all the houses of power, they have all the keys of power right now. And you can expect more of the same rhetoric. They are trying to create division, and they're trying to create, well, they want a race war is what they want. They want a civil war. That's what they want. The globalists have been planning this for many, many moons. But the globalist agenda needs the United States to fall. And if you follow 17 at all, you know, they say that Donald Trump is going after the central bank, the Federal Reserve, and everything else. And there are a few countries around the world, like Poland and Russia. It's probably another reason why they hate Russia so much, is because Russia is steadfast in not being part of the EU and the globalist agenda. It's like I've said in previous videos, if you have the resources, it may be time to go back to Europe. Not England or anything, because England is just as cesspool like the United States of America and Canada right now, with all their diversity politics and everything else, the destruction of their own people and their own culture. But there are beacons of hope in Europe, like Poland and Hungary and Russia, of course, and there's a few others. Italy's waking up. There's a national movement happening in Italy right now as well, and all over the world. Spain, I think. Yeah, Spain maybe not so much, because Spain's a bit whatever. Weak men make for weak nations. I had a girlfriend once who asked me, women should rule the world. And I said, why should women rule the world? She says, because life would be so much better, you know, if women ruled the world. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, I liked her, she was nice, so I tried to agree with her. But the truth of the matter is, what we're seeing right now is exactly what happens when women rule the world and weak men. You know, all this diversity politics, all this erosion of culture and class, all the erosion of values and strong ties that bind, like family and friends. I don't mean to disparage any woman who might be watching this, because they're not all the same, of course. But women tend to lean left. And if it's not for conservative men, there would be no such thing as a conservative woman. Women go on emotion, not logic and common sense. Any man who's had a girlfriend realizes this. Again, not all, of course. But it doesn't matter, because all women think emotionally, and it's only the small handful of few that actually think logically and can think outside of their emotional things. That's why I love conservative women so much, because they're free thinking. But if you look at the world as a whole right now, there is a very stark difference between the Conservative Party and the Democrat Party. You know, they say that the Republicans are racist. Of course they do. But I don't think they're racist at all. They are people who, not all, of course, because there's swamp things in the Republican Party as well. You know, Mitch McConnell and a few others come to mind. Mitt Romney. Mittens Romney. He's all excited about freaking Joe Biden coming into power. You know, he loves to consider himself a righteous Christian. Well, he's a Mormon anyway, but anyways. Seventh-day Adventist, or not Seventh-day Adventist, Latter-day Saints. He is a Latter-day Saint, but Mormon. Yeah. But he's all excited that the sex trafficking will open up again and they can sacrifice children to Baal and Moloch. Moloch is the one that wants the sacrifice of blood of children so they can promote their Luciferian ideas around the world. Mittens Romney is totally excited about Joe Biden because he can keep on using his super hedge funds to enrich himself even further. Anyways, apparently there's going to be a great ceremony to the Lucifer tomorrow night in Washington. All the swamp things are coming out. All the swamp things are coming out. All the celebtards are coming to Washington to support this illegitimate president, which is Joseph Robinette Biden. You know, Kamala Harris, absolute satanic. You know, she practices sex magic. But she did finally give up her position in the Senate. Not the Senate, but whatever she was doing before she became. I don't know how that's even possible. She didn't get a single vote during the Democrat, whatever, the run there for president. She got beat by Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard basically mopped the floor with her and exposed Kamala Harris for what a useless pile of garbage she truly is. But they had to quickly get rid of Tulsi, didn't they? God forbid that there's some good people in the Democrat Party. You know, Tulsi Gabbard happened to be one of them. But they quickly removed her from any chance of becoming vice president or president of the United States, didn't they? Because she goes against the grain, and she wanted to work with Donald Trump and the Republicans. Actually, Trump wasn't a Republican. Yeah, sure, that's the banner he went under, but the Republican Party is nothing without Donald Trump. And Donald Trump should probably start a third party, because that would absolutely wipe the Republican Party off the face of the map. Obviously, there's some good Republicans like Ted Cruz and a few others. A few others that stood with POTUS. Those are the ones that are, but those good ones would probably just follow Trump anyway. Would probably switch parties to Trump's Republicans. Trumplicans. I like that one. Some girl on the interwebs there, she coined it the Trumplicans. And I really like that. I think that's a good way to describe Trump's Republicans, because the Republican Party as a whole is just as corrupt and twisted as the demon rats. They're just a lot more weak and less emboldened, but they are as crooked and as twisted as any Democrat. You know, again, not all Democrats are evil, but a large majority of them are. When you have AOC and the squad coming out basically saying they basically want every conservative, doesn't even matter if you're a conservative, any person who's not libtarded, left-tarded, they want to put in re-education camps, and they want them to be behind bars, just like the communists did to anyone who had a dissenting opinion against the Communist Party. This is exactly what's happening right now in the United States of America. It was like Ronald Reagan said many moons ago when I was very, very young. I was too young to realize it, but too young. I was like in the 80s. I was way too young to even understand what Republicans and Democrats are. But Ronald Reagan said, if communism ever comes to the United States of America, it will be via a liberal government. It will be perpetrated by the Democrat Party of the United States of America. It's already happened in Canada. Maybe not to the 10th degree, but it's happening. And every year that Justin Trudeau is in power, the closer we get to communist China. They are erasing our people from history. We're not allowed to say Merry Christmas. We're not allowed to, in Ontario and Quebec, you're not allowed to go to church. And Canadians just take it, you know. Canadians are so weak. Maybe it's because we're so deflated and it's been so many years of I have no idea. I have no idea why Canadians have lost sight of what's important. Mainly because I think is that our demographic has changed so much that people who look like me are actually in the minority. You know, Canada is a good barometer to see what's happening in the rest of the world. Like you go to Vancouver, for instance, the population of Vancouver is 75% Chinese. Like quite literally, it's 75% of the population is Chinese. There's more Chinese people in Vancouver outside of China. Anywhere else in the world, there are more Chinese people in Vancouver outside of China. Has the largest Chinese population outside of China in Vancouver. And that includes East Asians as well. And it's creeping into all the small towns. Like I live in rural BC, so it's not as predominant, but I can see our replacements everywhere. They own everything. They own gas stations, Subways, McDonald's, A&W's, Walmarts, whatever. They own everything. Everything is owned by East Asians and Asians. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how these people can afford these franchises and things. I don't know why, but I think the government probably gives them incentives and gives them money to buy land and business. While Canadians, like full-blooded Canadians like myself, who have had relatives in this country for over 100 years, since Canada's inception, I've had relatives in this country. My family came to Canada when the English took over from the French. That's how long. My ancestors built the highways and byways to connect the rest of the country. When my grandfather came to British Columbia, when he was a young man in his 20s, Vancouver still had boardwalks. I know it's hard to believe, but Canada is a very young country. It's only 135 years old or something like that. 150. I think we just had our 150 year anniversary. So 150 years Canada has existed. It's always been here, of course, but it became a country 150 years ago. And I've had relatives here since the beginning. Like I've said in previous videos, there's a story in my family trees that my ancestors actually came to North America with Leif Erikson. We were part of the, I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, there's a story running around the family that we had an uncle, a great uncle, or a great grandfather that was a part of Leif Erikson's exploration of, so yeah, but can't confirm or deny, but apparently it's a legend in the family that we had an ancestor on Leif Erikson's ship. So it could be possible, who knows? But if it is true, that means that I've been in North America. My blood's been in North America since before its conception. So it gives me hope to know that I have as much of a claim to this land as any other Native American. You know, but I don't get any of the rewards for having ancestry here for over 6 generations. I don't get nothing for it because of the color of my skin. Yeah. But that's the state of the world right now. Yeah. If you look like me, you're going to be systematically destroyed. We have become the new victim class. Well, we're going to be the next victimized class, I should say. All these demons of man are running around, raping and killing us, allowing our enemies into our lands. You know, millions of them each year. It's like inviting your worst enemy into your house. You know he's going to hurt you. You know he's going to kill you. You know he's going to do something that's going to fuck your shit up. But you invite him into your house anyway. That's kind of how it is. That's how it feels, is that we're inviting all of our enemies into our land so they can systematically undermine our traditions, our values, so we have no sense of community or pride. All the while made to feel that we need to accept our tyranny because of something that happened like many, many moons ago. And 90% of the people that look like me didn't even participate in such horrific acts against humanity. But yeah, we're meant to feel guilty for all the sins of our father. You know, the sins of our fathers. Even if our fathers were absolute pacifists and religious leaders and shit. Yeah. But yeah, made to feel guilty for the sins of our fathers. Doesn't make much sense to me. But I can see this pattern. We have much to be afraid of. I don't want to be a doomsayer, but the bottom line is that a lot of things are in play right now. A lot of things are being systematically destroyed. All the good work that POTUS has done in the last 4 years is going to be systematically destroyed. All the landmark peace deals, trade deals are all going to be replaced by the globalist agenda. Joe Biden, like I've said, probably in the last little while anyways, he's only going to last no more than a year. Everybody knows that. So not only was he unelected, but that will make way for Kamala Harris to be an unelected president of the United States, the first woman president of the United States, unelected. We had in Canada, we had a female prime minister once. I can't remember her name exactly because she only lasted 9 months. Because once she became prime minister by default, she wasn't elected, but she became prime minister by default. And then all the corruption and all the scandal came up and they totally ousted her when men were men and women were women, and people actually stood up for human rights and justice and all that other good stuff. Actually lived by a code of honor, unlike in this age of ignorance. Anyways, people, I just thought I would make another video today. I appreciate, again, all the subscribers and all who have supported me. I guess living light.